Yo, what is going on, everybody? You text Archangel here with a brand new video for you guys. Hope you all are having a good ass day. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Everybody hit the like button and comment. Do all those things. The algorithm likes as well. Follow me over on Twitch. Link is below as well on your screen right now. So, last week or a couple weeks ago, Bungie revealed, some terrible news for the future of the game. Now, I was going to make this video last week, but there's just some things that kind of like delayed some YouTube videos, and we also threw out the Vault of Glass video, which will be added to the end of this video. But a couple weeks ago, if not last week, I forgot when the actual day was, Bungie made an announcement once more proving that they are not an ally to gamers, that greed makes their decisions not need to produce good content for its players. So let me rewind before basically going into this rant, if you will, because I feel like this is more so going to be a rant than anything else. Bungie announced that with the new expansion, The Witch Queen, players will no longer be able to get access to dungeons without buying the deluxe dungeon of Witch Queen, which is more expensive now than previous expansions. But fear not, Bungie also said that at a later date, you'll be able to buy those dungeons separately by themselves without the season passes if you don't want to buy the deluxe edition of Witch Queen. Well, how much is the Witch Queen? Well, the standard edition of Witch Queen is only $40. Not a big deal. No problem. The deluxe edition is $80. So in this deluxe edition for $80, you get the expansion itself, which again is $40. You get season passes, which are $10 individually by themselves. And there's 4 seasons, so that's another $40. So you see the equal there. The expansion plus season passes are basically $40, a piece separately. So if you have a bundle of season passes, that's $40. You have the expansion itself, that's $40. You total at 80. So that's fair. That seems okay. That's no problem right there. That's also how the previous expansions worked. The previous expansions worked the exact same way. When you the deluxe edition, you get the expansion itself, and you get all the season passes. Now that expansion is coming out pretty in February, in Witch Queen will include the 2 new dungeons at 0 additional costs. You're not paying extra for the dungeons; they're just in there. Just now, they're just a part of the deluxe edition with no additional cost. Before, dungeons were just added to the game. You didn't pay extra for them at all. And technically, if you buy the deluxe edition anyways, like if you always bought the deluxe edition, you weren't paying for them anyways. Like they're still basically just in the game for you, but they get locked behind a paywall for those who don't buy the deluxe edition. I feel like all this might, sound a little confusing. I'll explain it in a bit. So basically what's going on here with Bungie is they're like going to charge you $15 to $20 per dungeon in the future. Or they'll probably charge you like $20 for 2 total dungeons, like so 10 a piece in the future. Basically, they're going to charge you for dungeons, something that's already a part of the game for free. They're going to now start charging you for that. So if you don't understand, you should now. That's a simple way to put it. They're charging you for content that you didn't have to pay for before. Why are they doing this? They aren't making deluxe edition cost more. The dungeons are just getting added to it for free. It's all greed. That's what this all comes down to. It all comes down to greed. First off, understand when it comes to Bungie. Bungie is not just making video games. Bungie's also making out-of-game content. What that means is Bungie is working on a movie. They also have plans to make comic books as well as a TV series for the Destiny universe. They want to bankroll all of that with the game. So they're siphoning money from the game to do that, and they're changing the pricing models. They're monetizing the hell out of the game itself to fund their out-of-game ventures, which is that's not a good thing. You have your money. Use the money that you have to fund those things. Don't just start changing things in a video game just so you can fund that. No one. First off, you're taking a huge gamble on even like thinking that your movie will be good. You haven't even shown that you've been good at storytelling when it comes to your in-game cutscenes, let alone so why should we trust you to make a good movie when video game movies are about them? We already know that they tend to not be very good. So you want to bank on the chance that you, Bungie, will come out, will be the shining star to finally make a good video game movie. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent. Let's get back on topic. Bungie wants to force players to buy the deluxe edition. That's the other thing about this. They want to force you to. They're weaponizing FOMO. FOMO is fear of missing out. Fear missing out is basically, let's say my friends all buy the deluxe edition and I don't. My friends will now have the dungeons. I won't. So now at a later date, because I gotta wait, because it won't be at launch, I gotta wait for them to add the monetization for the dungeons, to where I now have to buy those dungeons because I need to play with my friends, or I'll get the deluxe edition upgrade because now that will give me the dungeons. So basically, it's banking on, it's weaponizing fearless now, it's weaponizing FOMO, and hoping that you just buy the deluxe edition instead of buying the regular edition. They don't want you buying the dungeon by themselves. They want you to just buy the deluxe edition because the deluxe edition is $80, which is more money for Bungie in general. They want you to buy the deluxe edition. They're hoping that the fear of missing out gets you to buy the deluxe edition. They don't want you to spend a 40, they want that 80, and want as many people as possible to pay that $80. And that's just in the US. In other countries like Mexico and Australia, those prices are way higher for them than it is for us. So they're paying a lot of money, on top of what we're paying. And a lot of y'all are, self-centered and pieces of shit. So y'all don't care that other people are having to pay even more for these things than we do. So when you listen to what I'm saying when it comes to, them weaponizing FOMO, understand this as well. The dungeons being added to the deluxe edition they're not making the deluxe edition cost, $10 more, $15 more, or $20 more. The deluxe edition the price doesn't change. But at a later date, they'll charge you for those editions that are inside that deluxe edition, so that they want more money out of you, regardless if you want those dungeons. This once more shows that Bungie will always be the greedy clowns they are right now. But before, everyone blamed Activision. If you remember back when Bungie was part of Activision, everyone's like, it's not Bungie's fault. Bungie is great. Activision is why Bungie is so greedy. It's Activision's fault. Activision was a scapegoat. Understand that Activision was a scapegoat, and we do this a lot in the game industry, where we will just say the publisher is the reason for why the game is the way it is. We'll ignore the fact that developers also have a say in it, and also have these people who are suits and aren't, the full-time developers who make these kind of decisions. Bungie left Activision a long time ago, yet they keep monetizing the hell out of Destiny. Right now, Destiny's more monetized than it's ever been before in its entire life cycle with Activision. Like right now, Bungie is up there with Activision, Rockstar, and freaking EA on how monetized they make their video games. Fans were excited back then when they left, Activision, because it's gonna make the game better. No, it didn't. The Eververse is dripping with monetization. Bungie's making trucks of cash, but no, they want even more. They want to nickel and dime their place even more. They want you to fund their TV show, their movies, their comic books, and all the things that they're making outside of the actual game itself. Generally, video games pay for themselves. You buy a video game, you buy microtransactions, and you're funding DLCs and things like that. You're funding the next game. Bungie's not just wanting you to fund the DLCs, the next game. They want you to fund movies as well. Most studios pay for their own shit. They don't have you, the player, fund their game to pay for out-of-game stuff. Microsoft is doing a Halo TV show. They're not having Halo Infinite money be siphoned from 343 to that TV show. No, Microsoft paying for them damn selves because they want a Halo TV show. They're not gonna have the player pay for the TV show. They use their own money. You use your own money for those ventures, not Bungie. They want you, the player, to fund what they're coming out with that has nothing to do with the game itself that you're playing. And it gets worse when you mention some things like this decision also slightly makes Destiny 2 a pay-to-win video game. In PvP, the roles you get on weapons matters. Some guns are better than others as well, and access to what becomes meta could now be locked behind a paywall. That's what makes something pay to win. When you lock good things behind a paywall, the people who don't pay for those things won't have access to, so thus you have a pay to win situation. So let's say one or both the new dungeons have some really good guns with insane rolls, but you have no access to those unless you are part of those dungeons. Those guns are like really good in the Crucible, Iron Banner, or Trials. These guns have god rolls. You can't get those guns if you don't buy the deluxe edition. You don't get those guns if you don't buy the deluxe edition upgrade. You don't get those guns if you don't pay however much money at a later date for those dungeons. That means those guns, those god roll guns that are slapping in Crucible, are behind a paywall that you don't have access to. So, and everyone else, and other people who did pay for those do have access to, now they're paying to be better than you in a video game. It's pay to win, which in general, the game's already pay to win. And no one has complained about it because no one in Bungie's community is very, very defensive. And a lot of them are like sport game fans where they like to deny the reality of what the current state of the game is. If you don't own the previous seasons in Destiny, you have to buy them, post launch to get access to certain guns. For example, if you didn't get, say, Hawkmoon or Dead Man's Tale in previous seasons, guess what? You have to buy the deluxe edition upgrade, which is $60. You just want 2 guns. You don't care about everything else that season has to offer. You just want those 2 guns. Those 2 guns are very good guns. Those 2 guns are very powerful in PvP. You just want those 2 guns. But you can't unless you spend $60. Already, there's exotic weapons, good guns that are very powerful in Crucible, locked behind a paywall. So other players who did take part in that season, the people who do want to spend that $60 for that upgrade, they have access to Dead Man's Tales. They have access to the Hawkmoon. They have access to previous seasons, like the 2 Crews Definition, or the Cryostasis 77K, and many, many more. You don't get access to previous season exotics unless you pay for it or took part in that season when it was already out. But if you just bought Destiny right the fuck now, you just bought Destiny and you just got Beyond Light, you don't have access to any of those previous weapons unless you spend $60 for that upgrade. If you tell yourself, I'm not spending $60 just to get 2 guns, and guess what? Now you won't have access to those 2 very powerful weapons that are not behind a paywall, again making the game pay to win. And let's just say even like this season, let's say you don't own you don't play Destiny right now, you own Destiny but you didn't buy Beyond Light, you didn't buy the current season pass, you haven't been playing the game, but you're coming back to Destiny for Witch Queen. When Witch Queen comes out, you won't have access to the Wrench Driver or the August Scepter unless you pay for a pack containing them when the new expansion comes out. Most MMOs and generally any game nowadays with microtransactions escape pay to win by making sure the only things like behind paywalls is cosmetic items or pay for convenience items like a level boosters, item boosters, things like that. Generally, you don't put pay to win behind a paywall nowadays because it's just a bad thing. You don't put guns in a paywall. You just don't do that. Bungie's doing that. Its player base is too dumb to notice that's what has been happening with the game. Bungie just does it because they feel like they can get away with it because they know for a fact that even if someone does complain about it, there's like a massive defense force who comes out and defends Bungie and their decisions and choices and say, it's not pay to win, just go buy the gun. Do you not understand how pay to win works? You understand that you shouldn't even have to go buy an exotic, like $60. It feels like 10. If it was like, hey, you can get the last season. Understand this: seasons cost $10. You can go get the last season for $10. It'll be fine. But no, they have it all bundled up to where you got to pay $60 to get everything, not just the one thing that you want. Everything. I don't want everything. I just want the one thing I want. Options matter. Anyways, again, I'm going on a rant, going on a tangent. This is all coming not too long after Bungie announced Forsaken content's getting vaulted. We're going back into talk about vaulted content. Which of those who don't know what that means is vaulting is when missions, maps, weapons, locations, strikes, any form of content is removed from the game, including content you paid for. Like Bungie is removing content that you paid for. What other game do you know that's a AAA title does that? Removes content from the game and content that you paid for. So far right now in Destiny, 2/3 of the content has been removed from the game, including content from paid expansions. Forsaken is a paid expansion, and that's about to get taken out of the game in February. So when you give them more money, they might remove from the game what you just paid for. So you buy those dungeons, you have no guarantee that in a year they don't vault those dungeons. You have no guarantee in 2 years they don't vault Witch Queen. That's why this is dangerous. They're making you pay for stuff that might not even be in a game in a year. And when it comes to vaulting content, They tend to vault things people like in place for things nobody really cares about. Example, when they last vaulted content and added the Cosmodrome Europa in place of Io, Titan, Mars, Mercury, and Leviathan, it took away 5 areas and only added 2. With those, all the Titan strikes were gone. With those, all the Io strikes were gone. With those, all the Mars strikes are gone, etc., etc., etc. All that content from all those planets were gone with those planets. Well, Europa, where people, barely go nowadays unless they need to farm the planet materials so they can buy Glimmer from Spider. Cosmodome is a ghost town. The entire Cosmodome is like literally a ghost town unless you're a new player or, an older player who just wants to like goof off with new players. You might see new player every now and then. Anyone else usually is there because there's a weekly lost sector as well. So if there's weekly lost sector on Cosmodome, then you go there. But outside of that, it's a ghost town. No one goes there. They took out so much content for places that no one cares about, no one goes to. Why is it Cosmodome in the game again? It doesn't really serve a purpose. They didn't need to add it. The nostalgia effect is bullshit. There is no nostalgia because you don't really, there's nothing to do there. You don't go there. And also, when it comes to Legend of Sectors, they're not always there. Legend of Sectors are a different place, every week. Anyways, Destiny 2 is a good game by itself, being hindered by its own developers. Like, Bungie made a good game, and they're the reason why their game, is bad, or they're the reason why the game is not playable that season. They keep making decisions that make you not want to play the game. It's the own developers, trying to kill their own game. Doing things to make players want to go play something else. A lot of people quit Destiny because of the vaulting situation. A lot of players say they will quit because of this decision to make the access to dungeons, only for the Deluxe Edition or pay for at a later date. Me personally, I planned on getting the Witch Queen. I didn't plan on getting the Deluxe Edition, and I'm still not. Hell, now I'm debating even if I don't get the expansion at all. And if I do, it might wait. I might get the expansion at a later date, not February. This was a priority for me at first, but this decision removes it from being a priority. I'm not spending $80 on a DLC during the exact same month Elden Ring comes out, during the exact same month Dying Light 2 comes out, during the exact same month Saints Row comes out, during the exact same month Horizon Forbidden West comes out. All those games are coming out in February. $60 games. You think I'm going to spend $80 for a DLC when all those $60 games are coming out? This decision kills buying the DLC if you're someone who plays other games, not just Destiny. If you're a Destiny player and all you play is Destiny, it's the only game you have installed in your PS5, your Xbox Series X, your PC, is all you play is Destiny, then that $80 is nothing. But if you buy other games and you have your eyes set on any of those games I just mentioned, you're not gonna unless you're loaded, you're not spending $80 on a DLC, then buying 4, 5, 6 freaking $60 games all in 1 month. Simply, it's a terrible decision, which sucks because I was getting to the swing of things when it comes to Destiny. And all those games are coming out a month after God of War comes off PC. All those games come out a month after a new Pokemon game comes out for Switch. This decision kills buying the DLC for someone who plays other games that just not Destiny, like I said. Simply, it's a terrible decision, which sucks because I was getting to the swing of things when it comes to Destiny, playing the hell out of it. They're also charging $25 in December for 1 dungeon and 1 exotic weapon. I'm playing Halo that month in December. I'm not going to go buy the anniversary edition for $25, $30 just to do 1 dungeon and get the Gallowhorn when Halo comes out. 1 dungeon and the Gallowhorn? I'd rather just go play Halo, buy Halo, play that a full game, than 1 dungeon for half the price for a full game. So in the end, just as Destiny content starts to pile up on this channel, it might be slowing down. If you've been tired of seeing so much Destiny on this channel, it's about to slow down. But anyways, with all of that said, that is it for me. I'll catch you guys on the live stream. Link to that is in the description box below, so it's on your screen right now. I stream every Monday through Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. Y'all be safe. Y'all be kind for another. Be a boy, you take the arcade. Do all the things the algorithm likes. I'll be out. Deuces.